pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll now go to the county mayor, Mayor Davis, for a report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. I just passed around a resolution that I would request that someone put on the agenda for next week. It's a resolution that, if you so choose, authorizes me to continue the contract on the air monitoring contract at the Bradley County landfill.
Mr. Chairman, I'll place it on there for
And that's all I have, unless someone has a question.
Anyone have a question?
Mayor, this may not be for you, but just in general, last time I remember on this monitoring, last time I remember on this monitoring, we were requesting some new reports or a summary report. Just wondering if we ever got that, if anybody knows.
Let Adam respond.
Since that request, we've gone through 2 different points of contact with the company, and in each case, we've had to get up to speed with them. So there is a report that should be coming to us starting next week. That'll be a weekly summary report. We're still limited in terms of what that report can look like, but it should be better and more legible than what you've gotten in the past. It's only 8 pages instead of, I think, 200. So we should start to see that next week.
So on this report, I mean, usually I write reports for a living. Do they outline what data elements or what the report's going to contain? I mean, I know a summary, but I don't want us to go backwards instead of forward, so to speak.
Well, I don't know if we can go backwards because
Sure,
this is certainly a lot more condensed. What I've seen at this point is the first page summarizes all of the monitors.
So they gave you an example of what the report's going to look like. So the next question, not to belabor the point, is will it tell those who need to know, or anybody, whether or not there's contaminant or information we can make decisions on?
I guess I have a question back for you. Is what
Sure.
do you want this report to tell you?
Well, I think when we put the monitoring in is because the citizens around there were concerned that there was things in the air, I'll keep it vague,
Yeah.
that were hazardous. And was it TDEC or is it right? Got to get my acronyms correct. Basically says we don't monitor or we don't control odor. It stinks to high heaven. We get that, but there's nothing per se. So basically, to answer your question, is the report going to tell us, yes, there's something hazardous and attention needs to be done, or not?
The system has only ever monitored a handful of chemicals, ammonia being one, hydrogen sulfide, which tends to be the one that when you get the complaints of it stinking, that's what it is. So the report will show on a graph the levels above and beyond what's acceptable throughout the week.
Okay.
That'll be a weekly report, Sunday to Saturday. There's also, I think, one of the features that we're going to begin to take advantage of is one I think will be helpful, where the public can report instances through our website. The data that they provide will then go into the system, and we'll be able to track, because I think one of the questions that I certainly have had when we've gotten calls is the smell our landfill across the street, or is it your neighbor putting manure on their field?
Sure.
We may know, but the system is detailed enough that if data points that the public can provide are given, we'll be able to go back and look at that information after the fact to determine, yes, it was. But you're right. I mean, we're still in the position of we can't control stink.
Right. All right. So, Mr. Chairman, it sounds to me like we're going to pay another $70,000 and cross our fingers that the report gives us the information we need. So we'll roll the dice again for another year. Thank you.
That's up to the voting session next week.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Adam, since you've been working on this, one of my main concerns was that they weren't working very well with us, and then at that point, the upon a contract for it was changed. It sounds like you've got some new connections. Does it seem to be that they're working better with us now?
I would say so. We in the last 3 months, they've done a complete overhaul of all of the monitors. that were all of them really, and so we aren't seeing any monitors that are not operating the way they should. There was a period of time that the weather station was not working, and that's been rectified as well. So all, as far as as far as I know today, all of the monitors as well as the weather station are operating at 100%.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mayor, who is monitoring this within Bradley County? I know in the past, I think it was the road department was the one that was monitoring the smells, and then it was, I think then it was Miss Moultrie was possibly doing it, and then it was EMA that was doing it. So I'm curious who is it actually?
Are you? The gentleman, the citizen is, I know that. EMA's never monitored. They've just worked with them to get them working again, and that's the thing we have accomplished is they are all working now. As far as monitoring it, when this report starts coming in, it will come into Lori like it was originally supposed to, I assume, and anybody that wants to monitor it will make sure that report gets to them, but it's supposed to be a weekly report.
Okay.
Sort of answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Mayor. I just, in the past, we've talked about this, I think last year when this contract came up, that we're spending $70,000 to monitor, and I think that there needs to be something done. I mean, obviously, there has been complaints that there are issues here and there are issues, but, it's been, when we first came on this commission a year and a few months ago or whatever it is, I mean, we were getting these reports weekly and they were 250 something pages. And maybe I'm off the email now, but I don't remember seeing a report in the past 9 months, or even longer that we have been getting anything or knowledge about this report of what's going on. And, but haven't heard many complaints, in the past handful of months. So my concern is $70,000 and it's not being, we haven't been really working with these people. They haven't worked with us very well over the past few years of being able to get that reporting where it needs. I hope this new reporting does do that and that, these issues stay afloat. But, at a $70,000 bill to, for 1 year worth of monitoring, and it's kind of a hodgepodge of different issues. I just hope that within these next few months, if this gets through and gets approved, that, we're able to find a resolution to all the issues that have been placed before us. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could we not get a summary report as commissioners that would be in our vernacular where we could actually read the report that's coming in a succinct way that would come to us quarterly, or I think exactly what you're asking for here? What we have gotten is that major multiples, as you said, is going to be cut down. But still, we'd like to know where the hot spots are. We'd like to know if there are continuing problems or they're not, and get that in. Is there a way for this company that we're going to look at renewing next meeting to put that in some type of report that would be coming quarterly or whatever that would, and if there is a major hot spot, would send that to us immediately so we can take a look at it? Any response to that?
I would suggest you take a look at the report that you'll see beginning next week, is what I'm told. We'll start to see that on Monday. Again, we're somewhat limited. We can't recreate the wheel completely, but we can consolidate some of the information. Part of the problem for the report before and why it was so large was you were looking at, I think, over the course of a month. So by breaking it down to just a week, for instance, the hydrogen sulfide monitoring, that particular report is only 8 pages long. And it's 8 pages because there's a summary page that shows numbers. Right, it's going to show you how many hours it was operating above, the acceptable limit. But it is, to get it into layman's terms might be a stretch because it's a very technical system, providing very technical data. So I would welcome your feedback after we get the report, and I can certainly make requests to EnviroSuite, but I don't know that we'll be able to get everything we want, but we are certainly heading in the right direction with a smaller report that gives us better information.
If we're going to be going another $70,000, it would probably be appropriate to streamline this in a way that we can make the decisions if they just say there is no problem this quarter, no major problem this quarter, and some type of report that's a summary that's beyond the highest level of that so many particulates are here and so many are here and all that. What we want to know is if there is a problem for our constituents that's coming, that's if we don't make some moves on that. That's something we'd like. So maybe they could take a look at that before our next meeting. And I think, is that when we're deciding on this contract? Yeah.
We voted on it next.
And then said, if we continue the contract, we need to have the communication in a way that we can understand exactly there are no problems, or there's some problems brewing, and start looking at what we need to start looking at.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Thompson first, then you.
Seems to me like that the complaints have fell off a lot. I haven't heard a lot of complaints lately. So evidently something's going right. They're doing something right. So I don't know if that money is well spent or not well spent, but evidently it's doing something because we don't have the complaints that we have been having.
Commissioner Rogers.
Thank you. Mayor Adam, is there any way to get this report to us by before we vote on another $70,000 to make sure that this reporting, and what this information is exactly what we want? Or is it you've got to vote on the $70,000, then we'll figure out the reporting at a later on? Or is that possible to be able to get?
I can make that request. What I'll do is forward the example report that was given to me to Ms. Moultrie and let you take a look at what we can expect next week. We are under a deadline of December 14th for the current contract to end. So that's why we're bringing it to you now, because with the cancellation of some of the meetings that were made, that puts us a little bit under the wire. But certainly, I mean, it's totally up to you. You can choose to push it, to wait. I just need to be able to ask them with some specifics what you're looking for. In the past, the request for something better was pretty vague, and it's still a little vague if you're asking my opinion. So let's start with what we're getting next week, okay? And then let's make some asks of the company. The only thing we can do is ask. They've been very helpful to this point. This individual has, again, the challenge, and I think Lori will back me up on this because I think she experienced this as well. They have a high level of turnover at this company. As soon as somebody gets locked in, our account manager gets locked in, understands our needs, understands our system, they're gone. And somebody else has to come in and relearn things. So, again, that's our deadline, and that's why we're bringing it to you today. I will forward the example report. Please know that the example report is not our landfill, okay? So you can take a look at what it will look like. Again, it's still very highly technical. I mean, if you're asking for someone to give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's not what this system will do. And I don't know that I want to be the person, or anybody really at county government level should be giving the thumbs up or thumbs down on whether or not we're where we should be. But this system is designed to tell us what the smell is and where the smell's coming from. That's it.
Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, I argue this point. I agree that we need to get a reporting system that works from this company. And if they don't, be prepared to move to another company that does the same monitoring. The question that I have is that I believe the ones that were here before this system knows the complaints, knows what was going on, and to act like it didn't help would be just asinine to think that it didn't help anything just having a monitoring system, because I argue that the reason we're not getting complaints now is because of this monitoring system, not because it's in place, period. So that's my argument too.
Commissioner Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When something is detected chemical-wise on this monitoring system, who takes action to fix that or to fix whatever is detected? We've talked about monitoring, but we've not talked about what's the action taken to fix the problem or whatever is detected.
Adam, before they weren't sending reports to the landfill either. Is that going to be able to start up with this new?
We'll be able to, it'll be an automated report that anybody that wishes to receive it will be able to get that.
We need
My
to make
intent
sure
was
they
to
get
send
it.
I'm sorry?
We need to make sure they get it
Yeah.
because they've asked for it in the past and couldn't get it.
Mayor, is there any way that they can get access to the system themselves so they can look at it themselves?
My understanding is they've had access to the system. It is not, it is a very complex system. If you've ever been inside it, I've got access to it, and I rarely ever go into it simply because it's way above my understanding. I mean, it's a highly technical system with a lot of data. I mean, I feel like you need to be a rocket scientist sometimes to read it. So a report, that's consolidated will be a step in the right direction, but it is still it's a very complicated system, and as are other systems that are like this that are out there.
Mr. Winters.
You identified a thumbs up. You identified a thumbs up or thumbs down. Maybe that's what we need, is where the different categories, the professionals that are in the field say it's cool, everything's fine. Or the professionals in the field say it's at a neutral point, take a look at it. Or a thumbs down that something's not working. I think that's what we want to know. We want to be able to, when someone comes in here and says there's odor, we can say, we've been looking at that routinely, and there has been reports that everything's fine there, so it must be somewhere else. And then we can defend the situation. So we're not going to be the highest level researchers of this, but we just need a condensed version that is a plus minus, that we're in good shape and we can feel comfortable back with our constituents. I think that's, I like the thumbs up, the thumbs down, and the if it's possible. Thank you.
Anyone else? Before we go forward, I'd like to welcome the county planner to be with us today, Chamber of Commerce, Mike and Doug Berry, and also those in the audience. Some of you, I don't think I've seen their faces here before, and we welcome everyone. At this time, then, we'll go to the reports from committees and our districts. We'll start on our left. Commissioner Rogers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing to report today. Want to wish Bradley and Walker Valley good luck this week and third round, I guess, of the state playoffs. And hopefully her dad will mention this a little bit more too, but want to congratulate one of the daughters of the commission that signed her college deal to go play at Anderson University on a tennis scholarship. I know Mom and Dad are super proud and congratulate Inslee on signing that scholarship this week. And all of us are very proud of her as well, Denny. So that's all I've got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Ledford, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Go Bears and go Mustangs. Looked at this morning, I traveled over in Light Springs Road. They've finished paving. Of course, that's a state project, but it looks really good. Me and Tim was talking that it looks really good for the folks that live out that area, which is our district. Actually, it splits the 4th and the 6th. And one other little report on our homeless lady that Miss Wooten, one of our constituents in the 6th district, has been helping. Just a report about Miss Tina. She got a job, and she started this morning at Life Care in the laundry, so that's a good thing. And other than that, Mr. Chairman, 6th District is doing well, and that's all I have.
That's great. Someone did God's work on getting that lady straightened out here. That's really great. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Road Committee met last week and voted to recommend extending by 150 feet at the request of the road superintendent, Wayfair Drive. You have before you the road change form with the details. I placed this recommendation on the November 20 voting session agenda. And one other thing, we also discussed potential resolution for the portions of Brad Drive. I know we've been on Brad Drive for a long time. We're trying to get this hopefully closed out. Brad Drive that lie outside the right-of-way, Superintendent Collins, after consulting with the affected property owners, suggested we allow them time to execute a land swap that would help to resolve a part of our problem without negatively affecting the owners. We voted to recommend notifying the property owners. They have 60 days to agree to a solution, or Superintendent Collins will proceed in the best interest of Bradley County. And, Mr. Chairman, I place this on recommendation on the November 20 voting session also. Thank you. That's all I have.
Great. Commissioner Goins, please.
Fifth District, Sunwell, no calls or complaints, or that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Thompson, please.
Mr. Chairman, no report.
Commissioner Gilbert.
Everything looks well in the fourth district.
Commissioner Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand that this commission has a limitation of its power, but I've been contacted by several of my constituents asking that at least I, if no one else on this commission, would like to say that I support Israel and I support them in this battle against tyranny. So I feel kind of like Jeff Yarber years ago when he sat at his seat and he said we needed to take on ISIS. So I remember him stepping out and saying we should step out of our comfort zone sometimes and make an expression. And I think if we had 1,400 of our constituents that have lost their life by in the most inhumane way, I would want people to support us in that situation. So I do want my constituents to know that have sent to me that I support Israel. They are our chief democratic ally, probably in the world, to support us, and I think we should support them. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. I think we all should remember that Jesus was a Jew. So keep that in the back of your head as we go down this road. Commissioner Collins, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have all is well in the third. Do want to say thank you to Commissioner Rogers for highlighting that. I know everybody here that's a parent is very proud of their children when they succeed and take steps, in new journeys of their life. And so we're excited for our oldest daughter, and looking forward for our children to come and participate in the United Way bagging event. They were part of that, so we're excited for that. And glad to see Grant back. And Grant, we're thinking about you and your wife and missed you guys last week. And, hope Laney is progressing forward and getting better. So glad to see you back. Other than that, I have nothing to report.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Blake, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to echo that. Grant, glad everything is going well. Keep up the good work there, doing all that you do, Dad. Also, welcome Commissioner Collins to being the parent of a collegiate athlete. 4 years of fun. Trust me. When you get those phone calls, and I don't know if I can do this anymore, and all that good stuff. Anyway, congratulations on that. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Alford, please.
Oh, that was not good. I can relate to that quite heavily in a lot of ways. Second District's doing well. Thank you.
That's great. Commissioner Hughes, please.
Mr. Chairman, you have before you a couple of rezoning requests previously considered by the Planning Commission. The first is 5920 Water Level Highway, owned by Tanner Dillard. Request to rezone the property from forestry agricultural residential district to general commercial district. The Planning Commission met and voted to recommend approving this request. The second request is by Rex and Ray Calfee, rezone from forestry agricultural residential to general industrial property located at 182 Wilkinson Road. The Planning Commission met and voted to recommend denying this request. I placed both of these rezoning requests on the November 20th voting session agenda.
Thank you. I understand the vote on the Wilkerson Road was 5 against, 2 for it, 1 had a conflict, didn't vote, and 1 was absent. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And also, do you have the numbers on the vote on the water level highway?
I believe it was all in favor. Yes, all in favor.
Sorry. Mylan, go ahead.
Thanks, Tom. Real quick, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Calfee is here and would like to speak to that. It's his request. If you don't mind recognizing him, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Calfee, go ahead.
Thank y'all for we speak here today. I'm Rex Calfee, My family has been on that property, approximately 90 acres, more than 55 years. From that property, that's we're asking to be rezoned. You can stand on it, and you can see industry. You can see warehouses. You can see a church. You can see businesses. You can see an airport. You can see airport hangars. You can see a trailer park. You can see subdivisions. So this property, in my opinion, has many, many options. And I do understand that we've got a big development going in on the north side of Wilkinson Road. And I understand that. I understand that possibly that there's going to be opposition, but maybe there wasn't opposition to those homes going in. But personally, I'm not really in favor of what I'm seeing happen across the road from my property. That's just not really the type of development that I would have really wanted there. And we've had industry in that property. I think that the big industry there has been sitting there. My property's been looking at it since 1980. Guys, that's 42 years that my property has looked at the door of industry. I just don't really understand why that this light industrial rezoning request could have been overlooked, by the Planning Commission. When I'm on my property, I have to listen to airplanes fly to the airport. I mean, it's constantly. Just go out there and stand on the property and listen at what you're listening at. I don't know if the people that are going to be possibly buying homes in that area, if they want to stand outside in their yard or have barbecue in their yard, if they're going to really understand what's going to be, they're going to be listening to. I mean, there's not a home there yet. There's not one. It looks like there's going to be homes there. But my property should have the ability to be whatever it wants to be. It's had to be a farm in the middle of an industry forever. It's been maybe 20 years ago, a real serious accident there with a cow, hit by a car. Thank the Lord that I've, all that got through and nobody's really injured. But it was a really big lawsuit for me and a big mess. We have left that area as far as farming. Thank the Lord we were fortunate enough to buy way on out up in Polk County and other places in Bradley County that's way on out. And so it's just not really the best area to farm anymore. I think all of you understand that. I'd really like for you to consider this rezoning request for my brother and I. And this ultimately lies with you. I just don't really understand, the Planning Commission not really looking at what the ability that property's had and why that property's been looking at that industry for 42 years. I don't really understand why that all of a sudden could not be light industrial. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appear to have gotten the cart before the horse here. We'll now go into a public hearing. Mr. Calfee was for it. Is there anyone else opposed or for that would like to speak?
We normally don't go into a public hearing until we vote on it.
Good. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes, if you don't mind me asking, the Planning Commission voted to deny this. Chairman gave the numbers on that. Was the reasoning communicated back to the owners, Mr. Coffey, the two brothers, as to why?
I think it was.
I just said he didn't.
I believe it was that day.
And the reason I think that I heard was that it's not conducive with the land use plan, which is part of the growth plan. Is that?
That was correct.
All right.
Thank you very much. Do you understand what they're saying there, Mr. Calfee, on the, please?
Mr. Calfee, I asked Mr. Hughes if he communicated, or if, usually it's the chairman of the planning commission, planning commission or any committee that communicates with you or whatever. He said that he believes that, the reason why they deny it was communicated, so you have an understanding of why they, denied it is because, well, and he just said that because there's a thing called the land use plan, which is part of the growth plan. It's basically a more conceptual, I guess, in a certain sense, that this is how we want Bradley the county to look and what we want in certain areas here and there. And that was what the decision was based off, was the land use plan and the growth plan. So I just want to make sure you because you said you kind of alluded to, you didn't. I want to make sure you understood why it was denied.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question for Commissioner Hughes. Is all this land, is it all county? I would assume that's why we're voting on it. And
Yes,
does it touch this? It touches the city limits? I guess, is that
I'm
what?
sitting here looking at it. I'm looking at the roadways while I'm trying to figure out, see if it actually touches it or not.
I just was
But
curious
I believe
because
it does.
Michigan Avenue and the city of Cleveland here.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So if we approve it or don't approve it, I guess the other option is for the city to annex it, and then they can have
They
to
can
deal with it.
request to be annexed. Yes,
Request to
in the
be
city.
annexed, and then
And
the
at
city.
that point, it'll never, because of it touching the city, we'll never hear it or see it from there on out.
There's a gentleman in the back. Would you like to speak, sir? Please.
Coffee beer today. I didn't even know this was up here today, but I would raise just one point. Long ago, I opposed a rezoning, and I was told that it's their land, they can do what they want to with it. It wasn't in accordance with our 20-year growth plan when y'all rezoned Billy Thomas's 8 acres to be a brand new campground, okay? That was a whole new created parcel zoning just for him. Just interesting to see the difference that I was told, well, it's their land, they should do what they want to with it now. And I said, but it's not with our growth plan. And now he can't do what he wants with it because it's not with his growth plan. I'm here for a different matter to speak about an announcement. Thought of that one.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Yes.
question. Where they're building these homes at on Wilkerson on the other side of the street, are those, is that zone city?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's beyond the city limits, which is above. So it was, could we say spot zoned? I'm asking.
I don't recall that it would be spot zoning. I think we have considered it contiguous if you go across the street. And that has previously been considered contiguous, and this right here potentially could be zone city because you cross Wilkerson Road and that has already been zone city, as I understand it.
That's city.
Anyone else? Public hearing on this is closed. We'll now go to agenda item A, Commissioner Hughes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what was that again?
Your nickel, sir, on agenda
Okay.
item A.
I see. I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman, this is a resolution authorizing Bradley County Mayor to enter into an annexation interlocal agreement between the city and Cleveland and Bradley County regarding a non-continuous annexation of the property currently owned by Larry and Nancy Eskew. The tax map on that is 0.26 or 026, I'm sorry, parcel 029.01, and these can be seen on pages 2 through 18. I'd like to place that on the voting or November 20th voting session.
We'll
Agenda,
now go into a public hearing. If some feel that this is not required, I as chairman have dictated to myself that we'll notate it as such. Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against in the audience on this request? Please, sir.
We asked the city
annexation of this property because of the highway. State Route 60 runs out. This property's on the corner of State Route 60 and Eureka Road. It's 10 acres. It, to me, perfectly fits what you want for commercial buildings. Of course, with the help of the sewer that the city can give to it eventually. It would make the property worth doing something. There was an old farm there. It had been neglected for a lot of years. We're cleaning it up. Look better. Don't really have big plans for this. Hopefully, it'll be more valuable days within.
Anyone have any comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hess, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. You've asked the city to annex it because you believe this is your property and you should be able to do what you want with it, right?
Well, that's the case of anybody's property, I believe.
I was just checking. Thank you.
Good point.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Thompson.
I guess the question I have, I think like he does, you should be able to do what you want to with your property. But what really bothers me is this interlocal agreement. Now, you know, we had the growth plan, and the city at that time had the opportunity to take in what they wanted to of the city, as long as it was in the growth plan, as long as they could run sewer and water to it. But now they come back, and then we end up with this interlocal agreement. We're doing this all the time, and all that is annexation. You can say what you want to, but the definition for that is annexation. And I just, you know, I like for people to get be able to use their property the way they want to, but I sure don't like for the city to step in and try to take their property because it's a interlocal agreement. And so I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about or not, but anyway, I'm not for the city taking none of our property. I'll put it that way.
I asked them to take it. They didn't approach me.
Yeah, I understand that. But sometimes they come in and they take it anyway. And if you ask them, it's just for the asking. They can do that. And I have a problem with that. I just don't, in other words, I'm not for city annexation at all, period. That's the bottom line. That's all I have.
Commissioner Hughes, please.
Mr. Eskew, my understanding is that it's just a future, something for your future, your kids or whomever.
Yeah.
And I also understand that you're requesting it to go in the city for no more than access to the sewer, realistically.
That's exactly.
And that is the part that always has upset me. I don't care if somebody wanted to be in the city, but I hate the fact that it feels like they're using sewer to force property owners to go into the city. I understand it, and I agree with you where you're at there. That is an excellent location for commercial property. It truly is, and I would never be one to hold that back. I came into the commission for growth and to do better for my district, and I believe what you're asking for will do better for the district or be good for the people. However, I can still argue I don't like the fact that they're using sewer to force property owners to be annexed into the city.
Commissioner Rogers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wish our attorney was here today because I have a few questions about the last one, and I've got a few today as well. I understand Commissioner Thompson's point wholeheartedly about the city and annexation, and I think everyone in the county knows where Commissioner Thompson stands on that. My question would be posed to our attorney is, you know, in the past we had a big, huge meeting and fire and land, building and land, and a bunch of other people come together and talk about annexation by referendum just less than a month ago. And so now, you know, Commissioner Joe Fivas comes and stands in front of us, and he sits here and says, "Hey, we want to work with you guys." And to me, that's what this is the city and the county working together. And you have a landowner here and an owner of a place that comes in and says, "Hey, the city didn't approach me. I wanted to do this." Now the city's reaching out to us saying, "Hey, we've got one of your residents wanting to be in the city now, and they're doing this," you know. And so my thing is you know, I want to applaud the city for sending this to the mayor and then bringing this to us, because we could have just done it by referendum. You own the whole property, you just vote on it, and then guess what? The 14 of us have nothing to say about it, you know. And so for me, I understand where some people are on it, and I totally respect your views. But as somebody who asked the city multiple times to work with us, we want to work with you. We want to be good partners with you. You know, I'm thankful that they're finally wanting to be good partners. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Winters, please.
Mr. Eskew, here. Hello. You and your wife were a great family for me at Ocoee Middle School. Your wife was a leader for me in the PTO, and I know you're a county guy. I know you at Hopewell, when the challenge was whether you would be sending your children all the way into town, not a long, long way at that point, but to come into town, you all were supportive of that. Your children came to my school, and I appreciate that. Just came together to me who you all are. I understand this, and it has been articulated very well, that the only way you can have a future in business, commercial business, is to have sewer there. And it's been said that the city's holding us accountable to that we have to do that. But you've asked to do this, and I understand it. I think it'll work well for that group that's around there, that they may get sewer as well because of that. So there'll be some benefit to that. But thank you for your contribution to the county, to my school. I appreciate that, and I want to say that publicly. This is a challenge. We've done in a local agreement. This is not a new thing for us. We've done at least a half dozen of those in the current years. So if you have a plan and it's going to be beneficial to the community, we'll make a decision next week. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, I will say this. I've normally fought these interlocal agreements 100%, but it's always been these subdivisions that are large subdivisions put out in the county that does a tremendous impact on our school system and whatever else you want to throw in there. It's horrible. But this is something that he's looking at commercial property. He's not looking at subdivisions. It is different to me. This is something that will help the community in the end. So I just wanted to leave it with that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. You have anything else you want to say? Or?
Good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak for or against this proposal?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I did place that on the agenda. I can't remember if I did or not. Okay.
It will be on the agenda then. Thank you very much. If there is no further I think that's that one. And we'll go now to announcements, upcoming events, Bradley County Board of Education. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up here. Communication from the audience. Is there any? Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Calfee, I apologize for putting you on the spot, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. I echo what Commissioner Rogers said in light of that conversation. With your property, do you have, if this board votes, this commission votes next week and denies that, upholds the planning commission request, do you have a plan for what you would do after that? You do not. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Communication from the audience. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Yes, sir. Marlowe.
Road in Charleston. I just wanted to let you guys know this Thursday there's a great event coming up at the Old Woolen Mill. It's put on by the Foundation House Ministries. It's the only maternity home in Cleveland that serves for women within 150 miles who are typically drug addicted and pregnant or just having give birth. They'll even take a mother in who doesn't have custody of her child and help her stay clean, give her a place to live, and walk the path to reunification as a mother for their children. And they're truly working on breaking cycles of addiction. That's the only way we're actually going to see a major benefit with how dangerous fentanyl is. So Thursday night, 6 p.m., Old Woolen Mill. Most of y'all have my cell phone number. You can call me for tickets if you want them. I've got them. Just give me a call. It's going to be a great event. They're going to be auctioning off these young ladies in the home have decorated Christmas trees that have been donated so that they can auction decorated Christmas trees off, and they will actually come to your house and set them up for you. And so you pay one price, your tree's done and decorated for the year, or it can be an extra tree. I just wanted to invite all of y'all and spread the word about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marlowe. Now we'll go to the announcements. Bradley County Board of Education, November the 14th, 5:30 at the Education Central Office. Planning Commission, November the 16th at noon at the courthouse. Truesdale Art Show, November the 16th at 6 p.m. at Truesdale School. Bradley County Soil and Water Conservation District Banquet, November the 16th at 6:30 p.m. Tri-State Exhibition Center. Christmas on the Square, November the 17th, 5 to 8 p.m. downtown. Downtown Holiday Shopping Preview, November the 18th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. November the 21st, 2 p.m. at Food City. United Way is celebrity bagging, which we will be participating in. If there's no thing else,